Yeah, should we get on with it? I think we should get on with it. Do you think we should? What do you reckon? You going to tell me today? Oh, it's your turn, is it? Okay. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Arr. Greeting, 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 and salutation. Welcome, one and both. And throth. It's not English. How's everybody diddling? How you doing? Hey, Andrew and Tommy. How you doing? Yes, it's Sunday again. Apparently, I've had an entire week off work, and it really doesn't feel like it. I need to go back and have a rest. Let me just lower the camera angle slightly. There we go. That's a bit better. Yeah, had a week off and done rather more than I anticipated. It's just absolutely flown by. So what have we been up to? Oh, other than looking like something out of an 80s hair metal band, starting to look like Phil Oakey. It's quite scary. No, I'm not going to go with that joke. Yeah, so the water changes. Clocks have gone back today, which is short on sleep. Hence the dark rings under the eyes even more than usual. Yeah, water changes. Finally cleared all the brambles to clear out the back garden, and got a man in to give me a quote for replacing the fence, which is going to be done in just under 2 weeks. Because he quoted me a lot less than most of the others did. Consolidating Sturby and Palliatus, putting them inside, probably for the best. Palliatus might be okay as long as you don't get a hard freeze. They can take cooler water. But yeah, probably just sensible bring them inside. You don't want Corey pops. It wouldn't taste very good. It'd be quite spiky. 20 long ready for Harris mud crabs and pea puffers. Now that sounds fun. Because mud crabs will eat whatever the pea puffers drop. Good thinking. Just as long as the pea puffers don't start eating the mud crabs or vice versa. Yeah, so it was a good quote for the fence at £920 for what is a 28-foot fence, 6 foot high. But I decided to go with concrete fence posts because I'm sick of the wooden ones rotting. I say that I've only had to replace a fence once since I've been here, so yeah, no. But yeah, concrete ones won't need replacing again, ever, in my lifetime. Tying up crabs, too big for the pea puffers. Crabs should believe it. Going to find out. I would have thought so. I mean, if the crabs do the breedies, then the peeps might go after the baby crablets, but baby crab do. It should be an interesting and fun tank. I would probably need a magnifying glass to see anything. Yes, that's one of next year's things now, is definitely new glasses. I'm okay at this kind of range, but anything closer than about 2 feet, I need to do the old person thing of look under the glasses. But yeah, so it was actually quite a relief to get a quote through at that level and to be able to get the fence done that quick. Main reason is I wanted to get it done before we start getting all the winter storms come through. Because the last thing you want to do is try to have a fence replaced when everyone else's fence has blown down. And then you're stuck with whoever's left to do it. Probably waiting weeks, if not months. So yes, once that's done, I can then relax and just go about chopping out the rest of the crud out the back garden. Still got a few more nettles and brambles to get rid of, but they're not in a problem place. There's also a holly tree to get rid of, but once that's done, then I can start looking at prettifying it. I'm thinking I'm just going to go with wildflowers. Just get a whole bunch of wildflower seeds next spring and just throw them out and see what happens. Pardon me. What else? Yeah. In the end, it was 9 birds' nests I found as I was chopping the brambles out from this year. So we had plenty of baby birds in the garden. There were definitely blackbird nests, sparrow nest, at least a couple of those, and a blue tit nest and a wren nest. So lots of happy little birdies trundling about and shouting at me as I was chopping down the rest of the brambles. There were still some blackberries on them, but not many. So now that's clear anyway. A weight's off the mind, and being a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to be, it does mean I'm able to replace HMS Crap Top a lot earlier than I thought I would. So that'll be on the list of things to do probably after Christmas now. We've got Mary's birthday and Christmas to sort. Meow meow, howdy Tamper Tom, the mad mower himself. How art thou? When does the quiz start? Next Saturday around 7, I believe, Andrew. Oh dear. Me, a quiz. Actually prepare something for this. I have a chair, I have a backy tin, I remembered to fire this thing up, and I even got my drink ready. For me, that's kind of, I even remember to have a pee beforehand as well, so that's kind of miraculous, really. Fresh cut grass, birds chirping. It really makes me sick. You'd like my back garden at the moment, then there's no grass out there whatsoever. It's just a sea of bits of dead bramble, ivy, and mud. I'll see what comes back next year. What have I been up to this week? Walking Pippa in the mornings, always. Fussing cats. For once, I didn't actually pop into work to get anything because I didn't need anything. And mucking about with AI stuffs. Warning, that can get addictive. I've actually found myself going for the ones where it limits the amount of things you can do in a given day unless you pay. Because, yeah, otherwise you can spend hours and hours and hours. Yeah, well, maybe the next one will be better. Maybe, oh, that's getting there. Maybe the next. No. What else we've got coming up? It's Halloween, but I don't really worry about that. And it's still unseasonably warm over here. Still been high teens, so still definitely shorts and t-shirt weather for it. Well, I would say for everyone, but there's been one frost, so a lot of people have got out all their winter gear and are wearing full-on winter coats and everything. And I'm like, how are you not just overheating? I will be baking alive at that temperature. I did make one fishy mistake this week. It's quite a bad one. Spotty, my gone bristlenose in there, he was on eggs. And what with everything else, fancy wires and stuff going on this week, I sort of forgot about it. And didn't decave him in time. So I was like, why is Spotty out of the cave? And I look in the cave, there's no eggs in there. Oh, crap. So yeah, there's approximately 150 baby bristlenoses swimming around in there somewhere. That's going to be fun to get out, isn't it? Unless they got eaten. But there's not, I don't know, the linear might have eaten them, but there's not anything else in there that would probably eat baby bristlenoses. I guess I'll find out when I clean the filters tomorrow. If the filters are full of baby bristlenoses, I'll know what happened. They won't necessarily be dead. So, bristlenoses, they get everywhere. Including the impeller. It's probably that one. If you can hear anything. But I can't at the moment. I can hear air bubbles and a gentle hum. Yeah, what sometimes happens is a snail will crawl its way up inside somewhere and you end up with a snail in the impeller. That happens regularly. First few times it happened, it scared the pants out of me. I thought the filter had broken or something. And then you pull the filter apart and you find half a snail jammed up inside the impeller. It's not so bad with the ram's horns because they do tend to disintegrate when the impeller smashes them. It's the trumpet snails that tends to just jam because the shell's pointed. If they go in the right way, it just jams the impeller solid. Then things get real hot. Could just have been stream bugging, computer updating, computer being old and crap, something like that. I think it's about 8 years old now. Did I have it when I met Mary, or did I get it just after? I think I had it when I met Mary. So yeah, HMS Crap Top's 8+ years old now, so not surprised it's doing buggy a bit. Let's say what it is. Intel Core i3. HD 1366 by 768. Yeah, it is USB 3, so it's not that bad. Well, one of the ports is USB 3, and that's the one I've got the webcam plugged into. But again, that Logitech is probably 6 years old, so that might need replacing soon. Just an age thing, I think. Ooh, pardon me. Whatever the current favoured choice of a live stream webcam is these days. I'm guessing it's probably something similar to the Logitech, is it C920, something like that. Which is what that is, I think. Probably says on it somewhere. And you know, it's always the same. You don't really notice how much slower a computer gets over the years because it happens really gradually. Have you seen the new webcams that have a lens like the DSLR? Digital single lens reflex. Manually adjust the focus to zoom in. If I come to replace my webcam, I certainly will, because then I won't have to faff about with autofocus. Howdy, happy place. How you doing? Happy clock change day. Yeah, that's probably thrown some of the Americans out a bit. The fact that unless the clocks change the same time in America. Cleaning tanks, always good. Well, not always. Water changes and filter cleans, yes. I don't like to clean tanks unless I absolutely have to. And then it's usually just the front glass that gets cleaned. I'll leave the rest. 18 tanks to do today. Yeah, you be reek. I mean, if I literally just hammer through doing water out, filter clean, water back in, I can do, what have I got? 7, 8, 9, 10, 14 or 15 in about 5 hours. And next weekend or the weekend after. Yeah, I knew it weren't. One of them was fairly similar, or the same day, and the other one's different for whatever reasons. Why we still do it, I have no idea. Because, yeah, it's not like the children help with the harvest anymore. Everything's harvested by now. And also, all the farm equipment has lights on it. So it shouldn't need. I don't know. Just seems a bit silly to continue doing it now. We don't need it at all. The spring one, I'm absolutely fine with. For whatever reason, I can deal with that. It doesn't bother me at all. The clocks spring forward. Which is weird because that's the one that normally messes people up because they lose an hour. Whereas I find it more of an issue when the clocks go back and I gain an hour. It either means I wake up really early or I don't sleep very well at all, like last night. I didn't sleep well and I woke up early. Rena, how you doing? The squire of seahorses. The consul of corals. Yeah, we'll leave it there. Yeah, so week off, and most of it has been concentrated on getting brambles sorted and fence sorted and catching up on rest. So, installed my new to me custom protein skimmer and swore a lot. Tommy's consolidating and Happy Place is moving stuff around. Yeah, I don't move stuff around. Most I normally move is fry or young fish. And then it's usually bristle noses and they're really easy. May need to upgrade the pump for a quite, oh dear. Protein skim with a loud pump on it. Removing 4 tanks from the fish shed. Ooh. 20 adult blue Acara to a new tank. That's a lot of Acara. I'm going to guess they probably took more catching than 20 bristle noses would. No, it depends on the tank and how scared they are of a net. Usually I find if I start mucking about in one of the bristly baby tanks, as soon as I take the lid off, I always go and hide up on the wood. And then you just sort of like lift the wood up, put the net underneath, and then they the net. All these tanks could potentially have kellyfish babies. So I have to go through them very slowly, see if there's microscopic. I believe yes, yeah. This is what happens to me with shrimp tanks. I think I've got all the shrimp out. I'll redo the tank and replant or whatever, put all the new fishies and stuff in there. And 4 months later, I'm like, hang on, that's a shrimp. And then I find a thriving shrimp colony in the tank. Yet when I have a tank that's just got shrimp in it, it really doesn't do well. Hence why I've started putting bristle noses in the shrimp tanks. We try to polish the rotor or replace it. Newer pumps are using less power. Yeah. By the time you faffed about and messed about trying to sort out the little bits, yeah, it's probably going to work out cheaper to get a new one. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be the way it is, but it is these days. At least 300 shrimp out there. They'll be flying out in the shed for the winter. Make it just fine. Keep a heater in here because it's hard freeze. Yeah, shrimp are a lot hardier than people make out. No, but the temperatures dropped a degree, they will all die. No, they won't. There are 2 nitrates in water. Oh my God, what do I do? Oh yeah, if you've got flying shrimp, I mean, I get quite a few that fly, I've got to admit. But that's normally when I pull the filter sponge out and about a dozen shrimp will jump off of it. Which is why I have to be very careful when I'm cleaning the shrimp tank filters. And the water change bucket goes in the sink, kitchen sink, the plug goes in and I pour it out a bit at a time just to make sure. And some weeks I'll find 2 or 3. Other weeks I can find 20 or 30 shrimp in the sink at the end of it, and I'm like, oh. And how they get some of the places they get to, they've got to fly. You seriously had to go up over the back of the filter, around and back in again. And I'm also pretty sure some of the random crunching sounds I hear, especially from the Nanacara tank, is the occasional shrimp going into the filter. But that's better than when the 2 killifish managed to get into the filter and mince themselves, which is what was in that tank originally for a short period. Oh, if you're eating crisps, you've got to tell us what flavour. We have to judge the flavour of crisp you're eating. Seabrook's cheese and onion. There's a big fish outside. Quick, fish police, get him. I think the fish police have given up on me. Let's be honest, Tommy. Oh no, he's doing that. Yeah, it works. Deal with it. Yeah, Seabrook's cheese and onion. Now, did you do it correctly? Is the question. Because with Seabrook's, there is a proper way to eat a pack of Seabrook's. What you do is you open big pack that's got the 6 little bags in, shake out the 6 little bags, you open those all up, you pour them back in the big bag, then you sit down. Big snail stuck it out and the overflows. Yeah, snails getting stuck in weird places, that's always annoying. You know, why is that? Why is there hardly any water movement? Why is that filter hardly moving any water? Oh, right. Especially if you've got trumpet snails in a fluval flex, because they end up in the outflows and then you have to pull it all apart and stab them out with a bit of wire. Snail homicide. You don't want to know the amount of snails that get killed on a weekly basis around here. That's another reason the birds like my garden, is their weekly treat of a large amount of marine, or not marine, aquatic snails, that's the word, that they get to eat. It's starting to look a bit like a beach out there with all snail shells. At least the pH of my soil will be healthy. My soil will be well buffered with the amount of calcium that's in it. No one else would think like that, would they? I haven't actually got any crisps at the moment. It's just, what do I have for tea once I've finished my stream? Supper, I suppose, at that time. Got a choice between tuna and rice, probably with some cheese thrown in it and some mayo, just to kind of hold it together so it's easier to eat, or a couple of microwave mini pizzas. Which would you guys go for? Microwave rice and tuna with possibly cheese and mayo, or microwave mini pizzas, just for something to eat? Because all I've eaten today so far is a couple of cream cakes. So, but then I seem to be getting like that lately, where I'm not actually eating much. So like this week I've been getting to like 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night and thinking, I've not eaten anything yet today. Don't do that. It's probably not healthy. Probably not a good thing if you forget to eat, is it? Either that, or it tells you your stomach's still full and you didn't need anything to eat. Or my stomach is just confusing cola and energy drink for food. Rice salad with onion. I've got to go to work tomorrow. I can't eat onion. Jeez, if I eat onion today, I'll be getting sent home from work due to the unremitting stench coming out of my anus. Oh, geez. It's bad enough. Oh, your stomach belonging to food. Yes, I'm familiar with the meme, Tommy. All your base are belong to us. Wasn't that something like that? Yeah. One of when Chinglish translations actually don't go too badly compared to some of them. Oh, gee. I mean, some of the RC cars I've had in the past, which were from the Far East, some of the translations in the instructions, just you have absolutely no idea what the hell they're talking about. This, those words don't belong together in a sentence. Like Donald, ethical, and Trump, they don't go in the same sentence. That kind of level of what the heck. Um, oh, I just had a really bad idea for a really racist joke. Oh dear. Is it racist? Possibly. It's probably best not to even risk it. Friend had a moped from China. Stated instructions: put the helmet on, have a happy moon, and wear the moon smile with you on your ride. I mean, sometimes they come out like that and they're kind of cute. I mean, to be fair, no one wants to see anyone's moon smile while they're riding a moped. Because to me, a moon smile is what you might call builder's butt or plumber's crack. You shouldn't be displaying them on a moped. As long as you didn't get a kickstand out of it. But yeah. 50cc is the best size moped. Because you don't have to worry about things like speed limits or gears. You just sit on it, pin that throttle all the way back, and just every so often you have to stop, and then it's like riding a bike. You just brake, stop, pin the throttle all the way back again. You can tell someone who's riding a moped for a long time because their wrist is stuck in that position. And that's a really bad thumbnail. Don't clip that one. I mean, no license of 50 long. Yeah, I mean, over here, you need to be 16 to ride a 50cc moped. You have to have a provisional driver's license and do a CBT test, which is compulsory basic training, which is just basic road safety and how to ride a bloody bike. Oh, pardon me. Hello, Donna, my lovely. How are you? Hug. Yeah, I mean, so even 50s, they're getting expensive these days. It's like they want things to be affordable, but it's 50s are nice and you put 85cc cylinder and 32 mil carb. Oh, that reminds me of the Yamaha Fizzy me and my mates got hold of when we were at college. FS1E, we call them Fizzies. None of us had a license or insurance. It was just the sort of someone needs to pop down the shop during a gaming night, jump on the Fizzy, off you go, stick the supplies in the seat box, come back. Weren't going more than a couple of miles. You can always finagle a 40 on there. Yeah, with a reducer. Yeah, we used it. Then people started taking notice of the fact that we had like the what I call Guinness disc. Guinness and Heineken, he sort of changed it every year because the tax disc used to change colours every year. So we decided we probably best to get rid of it, and it was on the way out. Punch Maxi 50 was 15. So what we did was we decided to give it a good send off and see just how fast a fizzy could go. So we got the, what was it, a 1 gallon fuel tank, something like that. It was only little. And we got hold of some nitromethanol, as you do when you're that age. And there weren't a huge amount of fuel in the fuel tank. It was maybe half full. And we dumped half litre or pint or so of, I believe it was 25% nitro meth. So 25% nitro, methanol and a bit of oil. And we cranked that baby up. And it went down the road fine. First time, second time, the nitro started coming through. It was like, yeah, that's got some more grunt. Third time, hacking down the road at about God knows what speed, because the speedo needle was pegged all the way to max and probably bent. And then it blew the head off the engine. And all the bits inside the engine were on the outside of the engine. So that's how we learned how much not to put in there. Ours isn't the fancy stuff. I mean, it might be scented of something, I have no idea. The stuff I use is RC car fuel. Actually, Byron Original was one of my favourites, which is an American brand. And yeah, I ended up with my 8th scale monster truck that was running a turbo crank 28 hand built Italian engine with a supercharger on 35% nitro. Oh boy, was that fast. And it was also extremely light. I've still got it somewhere. Because it was all carbon fiber and titanium. That was 4-wheel drive, so you could just about keep the front wheels on the ground. If you kept, and it had a slipper clutch, so it was doable. But if you kept it pinned, just pull that throttle back, and when it clicked up into second gear, it did a backflip. Yes, I had to start with the gear change point as well, because I had a race Vespa with 272 on it. The aluminium, yeah, I went silly. I could have gone aluminium or aluminum, but me being me, I went carbon fiber and titanium. So yes, ridiculously expensive, with a ridiculously expensive Nova Rossi engine in it. And if you know anything about RC cars, you'll know who Nova Rossi are. Yeah, the titanium absolutely fine. Yeah, because I knew people. I got over Aussie to hand make me an engine, because I was talking to the rep and I was like, well, yeah, I've got this idea. What I want to do is I want to get one of your 28 engines and shoehorn it into this truck. Right. I like where this is going. Yeah, but I want more power and more revs. Two T-Maxes. I have an E-Max. So if you're familiar with the original T-Max, I've got the electric version. Mine is all aluminium, twin 14-volt handrail motors, Trinities, and 4 battery packs with 9-inch tyres, 40 horsepower. Yeah. Yeah. So in the end, we called it the Fours engine because it was running on the dyno at least 44,000 revs at 4 horsepower in something that weighed 3 3/4 kilos or 7 pounds. Yeah, that kind of ridiculous power level. That's why I fitted carbon fiber brakes onto it. Oh, T3, very nice. Old Novak, sweet. I think I've still got some Novak receivers somewhere. Oh, 27 meg ones as well. But Sharpe, why are you running 27 meg? Everyone's running 40 meg. Exactly. If everyone else is running 40 meg and I'm running 27 meg. Yes, that high, Rainer. It was ridiculous. Still is. I've still got it. Yeah, a engine. I was going to say motor, but it destroyed glow plugs very rapidly. And even though I tried to race it in the Outlaw Monster Truck class race meeting, and I raced it in the Outlaw Monster Truck class, much like with my rock crawling E-Max, I got politely asked not to bring it again. First gen, receiver speed control, motor, sweet. If I ever get around to digging out all my RC car stuff, I might have to do a video, because I've got some stuff up there that will probably make you drool, Tommy. Howdy, Bubbling Fins. How you doing? Good to see new peoples, especially if they're giving me kisses. You know, I'm not one to turn down kisses. And I think, hello, Debs, me darling. I think somewhere up there is a Lossy or Lossy, depending on which pronunciation you use, Triple X NT Drake Edition. So the full Mutts Nuts Works version. That's a virgin. It's never been run. It's been built, never run. 15k pistons is on the Vespa. Yeah, it's RC car engines are a different kettle of fish. And you don't mind if you got to replace the piston every gallon of fuel you run through it. I mean, I had the oversized fuel tank on that truck, and still do, which is the 275 mil, so just over a quarter of a pint, and it drained that in on a racetrack, so not just flat out. And it was doing about 4.5 minutes on a tank full. when you bear in mind that a race is usually 5 or 8 minutes, I was having to refuel, pit stop and refuel in every single run. Didn't matter because it was fast enough. Since it's come my way, oh dear. Why is it? Because it's warmer, drier, and less windy, or you just wanted to get away from hills for a bit? Or Deb's way, which is probably equally less hilly. That's the thing. When you get used to living here, what normal people think of as a hill, we think of as like, oh my God, I'm going to need a break halfway up that. I'm not joking. If I stood on top of my roof, got my binoculars out, I could probably see the next town over, which is like 7.5 miles away. There's nothing in between. I might not be able to see the town, but probably be able to see either the Abbey or the TV mast. Quite why we still have analog TV masts, I have no idea. I'm in Nelson's County. I'm in Norfolk. That's Norfolk and Good. Smack bang in the middle of nowhere. Just how I like it. So I'm in a small town. I'm like 45 minutes via bus from Norwich. And yeah. So yeah, what am I? 20 miles from Norwich, maybe 17, 18, something like that. So there's a big city close by. I just tend to avoid it. I'm in Lincolnshire. I actually saw Lincolnshire this year. I cycled up to the North Norfolk coast and looked left. Saw Lincolnshire. It's very weird to look out across the sea and see the same country that you're in. What? Yeah, I cycled the Peddars Way, so I was up at Hull next to sea, just north of Hunstanton. And yes, if you look left there, you look at Lincolnshire. If you look right, there's probably nothing there until you hit Norway. That's a rally nitro buggy into his gear. That's just a gear change adjustments issue. So we've got Lincolnshire, Nottinghamshire, and Norfolk in the chat. So we're getting a bit eastern. The Northerners are getting out, getting a bit sort of outnumbered. At least we ain't got any Southerners. Well, the east is where English comes from. The Angles came from East Anglia. And Angles is what over the years morphed into English. Went from Anglish to English, or Anglish to English. And rather than drop the A off, they dropped rather than drop the E out the middle, I dropped the A off the beginning. Yeah, I think maybe at some point I might have to dig out all the RC cars and make a bit of a video. There's probably some stuff there that Again, it's something, if you know what you're looking at, you'll know. But yeah. There are some folk here call it English and backwards folk. Why did I say that in a Norfolk accent? Probably because I'm in Norfolk, and it's the accent I hear more often than not. Oh, yeah, I've had a week off, so you know, when you have a week off work and you smoke, you tend to smoke a lot more than you would in a normal week. So that's why I'm a bit coffee and why my throat's being a bit grungy. Back to work tomorrow though, and Tuesday. Wednesday I'm off. Back to work Thursday. Friday I'm off. Back to work Saturday. Sunday I'm off. Oh, pardon me. Hey ho. This means Wednesday I've got to go down to the bank again to do a bank transfer to pay the deposit for my new fence. Yeah, probably going to be the most money that's gone out of my bank account in one hit for a long time. Dabs. What else? So I've got ideas for videos in my head. I just got to remember to film them, and then I've got to remember to upload them. And at some point, I've got to go through all my memory cards because I think I've got quite a lot of videos pre-recorded on memory cards that I haven't put on the laptop yet. There's at least 4 or 5, I think, from the trip to the workhouse. That'll be an interesting set. There might be some stuff shows up in the background, or you might hear stuff in those. And there's a few from churches as well, I think. I might have put those up, can't remember. And obviously, if I run out of ideas completely, there's the All Tanks Update video. That's standby for any fish tuber who can't think of what video to film next. It wouldn't be much of an update. It'd be like, yeah, it's all the same. Yeah, all the same stuff as the last video. But the only difference will be that Super Reds are breeding again, and now we have more Amicus Splendens. Yes. Oh, I did actually buy fishy-related stuff today because we had to go to Pets at Home because Latte Bunny has finished demolishing a cloud toy. Just a chunk of cardboard, corrugated cardboard with a picture of a cloud on it in the shape of a cloud. But she likes cloud. Some of the other ones she's not so keen on. She hated rainbow. That never got chewed once. So we had to get another cloud, and we've got an acorn one as well. And I've got a new set of the floss pads for the U4 in that tank, and a Tropica pot of Linophila Sessiflora. 9 baby albino cories, awesome. Baby cories are so cute. And when they get to a certain size where they probably about that big, and they just start looking exactly like the adults, half an inch, and they just do the exact same things as the adults, just smaller. It's very cute. QT set up, ready to use. Fill up the sump. Already using the QT while I'm building. This is why I try and keep at least one tank empty. Howdy, Mark. All is well, thank you very much. I hope so with you. Yeah, so it's like that one there is empty. well, there's probably a couple of snails in there. They might have died by now, though. Just in case I get an unexpected spawn of something, or I happen to be wandering around a fish shop and go, oh, shiny. No, if I just happen to be wandering around a fish store and maybe see a large female lemon blue eye, or one I can go, that is a female, rather than, well, it's of a size, but and it hasn't got bristles yet. What am I after at the moment? I was thinking some coolie loaches. I've got a funny feeling they'd probably all end up going up in the canister filter for that tank. Probably not the best idea. Probably all end up, you know what coolie loaches are like. They just end up going up the intake to the filter. And now I haven't seen them coolie loaches for a while. I'll go to clean the filter out and they're all sitting in there again, that kind of thing. Well, howdy, Sam. Well, it all depends. Oh, I'm just glad you missed the K off the end of cuck. You don't want any of them in a stock tank. Give Doggo a fuss for me, Sam. You know that. Them English fusses and pets. And yeah, sorry, you haven't got any hiding places left in my garden anymore. They're all gone. I did find Toshi, the Japanese sniper from World War II. He's now gone home. I did explain to him that the war has ended and that Japan is now actually a world power, very important. It's the joke about the garden being so overgrown. Our cleanup crew. I don't know. I don't really have cleanup crew as such. And yes, I've got all the bristle noses. I've got some Corys, and lots and lots of snails. But I don't really call them cleanup crew. They're just livestock. I mean, no, this is me, so I'm not going to worry about the bio load and whether ACAdvisor says my tank is overstocked or not, or whether the fish police say my tank is overstocked or not, because I just take that as a challenge. Oh, you think that's overstocked? Let me show you this one. So, yeah, it's. Oh no, your tank is overstocked. I've got flipping thousands of snails. Why do you think I got yo-yo loaches? It's not because I love yo-yo loaches and enjoy having the sounds of what sounds like glass cracking every time they get happy to clear the snails. And I think they've probably done, at least in the 2 tanks that I can put them in. So next time I'm taking some fish to the LFS to sell, I will take them a couple of very fat and sassy yo-yo loaches. I get a feeling the reason that the pelvic acromis aren't breeding is that the yo-yo loaches are probably eating the eggs. That's my general theory on the matter. Because was it yo-yos? Yeah, it was yo-yos that I had when I had actually had some rams that survived more than 3 minutes, and they bred. I was like, yes, rams, yes, they Survived. Yes, they bred. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And like 5 minutes later, the yo-yo loaches found them and devoured all the eggs. It was really rather sad because the rams literally had no chance of fending off the loaches because, you know, little diddy German blue rams and honking great yo-yo loaches. It's no contest really, but yeah, I have many snails. I mean, let's grab the cami rah-rah. It's probably going to screw up the focus, but what the heck. Just a few snails. Just a few snails. That one's cloudy because the filter got plugged. Solid. More snails. More snails. That one's full of snails. Anyway, the only tank I don't have snails in is that one. And that's because I had clown loaches in it for about a year, and there's lots and lots of trumpet snail shells in there. Well, I've not seen a single one moving for a long time. So, yeah. Clown loach is really good at getting rid of trumpet snails. Yo-yo loach is not so great at trumpet snails, but they will gradually whittle the numbers down. Although both will eat fish eggs given a chance. Just a few snails and bristle noses. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying about feeding the birds aquatic snails. I literally just grab a couple of handfuls out of each tank once every week or two and just throw them on the back garden, and the birds go nuts. He's being cruel. Nah. There are cases when even I do think about the bioload of a tank. You know, when you start getting well over a foot per gallon, I mean, not that one because that's just got the super reds in it and the remainders. But there's like well over 100 bristle noses in that tank, and they're all over an inch long. And that's a 6-gallon tank. Oh, 600 inches. Yeah, you can do the maths. But you can't keep more than one bristle nose. They're overstocked. Fish will die. No, they won't. You do the water changes and you do the filter cleans, and the fish are fine. I mean, that one up there, that is just an algae bloom because the filter jammed solid. Well, I wasn't paying attention. And the sponge filter stopped because it was jammed full of snails, basically. We start weighing the fish instead of counting them, you've got enough wisdom. Yeah, exactly. So I was in a live stream quite a while back. Was it a Facebook live stream, or I think it might have been a Facebook one, with who are basically the biggest stockist importer of fish in the UK. And yeah, I carry more stock of bristle noses than they do by a long way. No, the guy was going like, yeah, we've normally got about 200 to 300. Sometimes we've even got like up to 400. Oh, is that it? How many have you got? And at the time, I was heavily overstocked. I was like, I've got about 1,500 at the moment. Huh? You want my number? I'll send you some. That was Tropco for those in the UK. So next time you got someone up here delivering, send them in. I'll chuck you a couple hundred bristle noses. Huh? But yeah, that'd be a good one. Right, so how many kilo of bristle nose do you want? Oh boy, that'd be funny. How many bristle noses can you fit in one bag? Well, when you get to the fish store an hour later and there's about half inch of poop in the bottom, you put too many in. But yeah, they all start off with lovely, clean, fresh water in the bags. Literally an hour or two later, by the time I get to the store, take bags out, there's just poop everywhere. And you usually get well, those ones are healthy. Yep, lots of thick brown bristlenose poop everywhere. I'll give your filter something to do at least. Yeah, true. You don't really need to use water with bristle noses if you're not going to be too long. And I've found them the next day in the bottom of the water change bucket with no water, and they've still been alive. I found them on the carpet several hours later, like the next day as well. I've been bagging up like 100, 200 bristle noses. Yeah, sometimes they escape and you miss them. And took them down. Mary came over, did my stream, went to bed. Got up next morning, started doing water changes. What's that on the carpet? Oh, damn it, it's a dead bristle nose. Pick it up and it moved. Okay, we'll stick you back in the tank then. See what happens. Stick it back in the tank and just swim straight off quite happily. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, crazy creatures. How people manage to kill them, I have no idea. I'm sure in most cases, people who can't keep bristle noses alive, they probably starve. Ship of wood was yeah, it was suckered onto the wood and just stayed there all the way. I quite believe it. Yeah, they're virtually bomb-proof. Let's be honest. And unless they are in a native ecosystem, they won't have a predator. Being armoured, they're rather difficult to eat. They do suction on very well, and they can hide very easily. And then they get, especially the common plecos, then they just get too big for anything local to eat. And you end up with what's happening in Florida. And they've still not done anything about that. Come on, how difficult is it to like literally just employ a few people full time on a fairly standard wage by the government, or state government, whatever, and just make their job to go and catch plecos in the wild where they shouldn't be, or just fish in the wild that shouldn't be there, non-native species. Just catch them and either take them back and sell them off, or cull them. I mean, we even electrofish the little streams in the UK to get rid of any invasive species. So yeah, electrofishing would work. I'm pretty sure even plecos aren't immune to electric. Basically, you just, I'm sure everyone's aware of what electrofishing is, but if you're not, you basically just go around with a thing that puts electric current in the water and it stuns all the fish and they all float to the surface. Then you get the ones that you don't want in there and you catch them and take them out. Yeah, dog food, cat food. Well, it's fish, so cat food even better. Full-grown common plecos, human food. Heck, you know, start up a pleco restaurant somewhere in Florida. Mara pleco, set it up next to Mar-a-Lago, job done. Hopefully the smell of cooking pleco might get rid of. Yeah. Oh, that's an evil joke. It really is. Plecos don't float. Yeah, maybe. So yeah, just employ something to go and catch them. Pleco traps or something like that. And seine net them, probably not too hard. And if you've got 2 or 3 people, whatever, 4, 5, a small group of people, you know, and their job is just to clear out the invasive species. I mean, the fish would be probably a bit safer to do than, say, I don't know, the pythons, anacondas, and God knows what else is living in the Everglades that probably shouldn't be there. I mean, the Everglades is dangerous enough without adding blimmin' pythons to it and boa constrictors. So we've got alligator snapping turtles, we've got alligators. What else can we add to the mix that's going to make the water really dangerous for anyone to step into? I know what. Big man-eating size snakes. Might not eat a human, but they're certainly capable of killing them. Or, sorry, unaliving. I meant to say unaliving. Yeah, right. What the heck's going on? Is it? Yeah, so if you electrofish with plecos, they won't float. Yeah, tilapia, they're not meant to be there. Yeah, there's all sorts. I mean, I forget the channel name, and the videos were interesting. I just couldn't deal with how overexcited the young lad got. Yeah, every slight thing was hugely exciting and wow. But I think the whole thing of the channel was going to places like ditches behind Walmarts and not quite sewers, but getting there and just seeing what fish he could find. Finding everything. And he went one place, I think it was the back of a Walmart, just a little pond out the back of the Walmart, and ended up with a tank full of African cichlids. just chucked a fish trap in there and it was full of cichlids. It was getting snakeheads out of the rivers and stuff. I remember one where he was absolutely bricking himself because they found like a 3 or 4 foot snakehead in a drain. And it wasn't scared of them. It was coming towards them. And they didn't like that. What's it going to do? Bite you? It's not going to murder you. Yeah, it was an interesting channel. And unfortunately, it was best watched with the sound down. You know, with the mute button on. In my humble opinion, anyway. I don't do overexcited at all. It just no. Yes, it's interesting and kind of exciting, but it's not that exciting. It's not you just turned up from work and Christina Hendricks has stood on your doorstep in a bathrobe. It's not that level of exciting. Right. You know, if something like that happens, then you have every right to be extremely excited, or you win the lottery. Lottery win is probably more likely, in all honesty. Thankfully, that we're not a bunch of young'uns, because a bunch of young'uns would probably go, "Who's Christina Hendricks?" And then they'd Google it and go, "Oh my God, she's old." She's not. She's younger than I am. So there we go. This is the thing. When you start getting into your more advanced years, you start enjoying more advanced ladies. You know you don't need to do that, Sam. You're dealing with doggos. Doggos are cuter and more fun than me. So that's entirely understandable. Yeah, guppies and hybrid cichlids in Australia. It's probably not quite like that in the UK, but there are, plenty of reports of things that get seen. I mean, the River Wensum in Norwich, they found Oscars in, which is probably one of the ones that gets dumped the most, let's be honest. Because people buy Oscars when they're like that big and they're like super cute and pretty. And then within a year, they're like that. They've eaten everything else in the tank. And you're like, well, and then idiots dump them into the local ponds and rivers. Thankfully, they don't survive our winters. As I remember when my foster father decided he'd had enough of his fish tank. When he was breaking it down, he caught all the fish in a bucket and then threw them in the ditch outside. He didn't even make sure they all ended up in the water. No, they were like on the sides of the ditch, just flapping. And I'm like, yeah. So I put them into the water. At least they had a chance. I mean, they wouldn't have survived, but the nitrates in that ditch would have probably been in the millions, I'd have thought. Well, maybe not the millions, but it was cow field runoff, cow pasture runoff water. So lots and lots of nitrate coming from cow poop. Probably lots of ammonia coming from cow piddle as well. Have a look behind the local thermal bathhouse. Yeah, like we have thermal bathhouses in the UK. It's not in this part. There are some places where there are naturally heated thermal bathhouses, but not around here. The natural springs around here tend to be barely above freezing point. Even the local fish don't live in them. nets. They're like, nope, too cold, too clean. Yeah, there's all sorts of. I mean, I have caught ornamental species while I've been fishing, but other than goldfish and muck goldfish carp hybrids, the odd muck carp that's got weird coloured scales, because someone's dumped koi in the lake. Why? But yeah, most of the stuff, yeah, other than those, it's like blue and red orf or blue and gold orf. I've had. Don't know about anything other than that, really. Anything more sort of exotic than that would have stuck in the mind. I think the most exotic thing I've actually caught with a hook and line was probably a goose and a duck. Certainly the most interesting, trying to get the hook out of a goose. The duck was actually quite pleasant, because I tried to get the duck in the net and it absolutely freaked out. I was like, right, that's not going to work. So I just grabbed the duck and he just sat there while I took the hook out of his beak or bill. He just sat there. And I let go of it and he just plopped back in the water and swam off again. Straight back to where it had been. And very nearly at the bait again. You idiot. Yeah, the goose was a bit harder. Thankfully, by then, those geese trusted me, at least somewhat. So it wasn't complete carnage. It was just like I trust you, whom, but not that much. And then I think it realised I was actually just trying to help it by getting the hook out of it, and it let me in and it buggered off. And sat there hissing at me for about 5 minutes. Caught an albino wels and a few red ear sliders. Yeah, we get terrapins around here. You see them fairly regularly. Not, and wels, they do get introduced into some lakes, but no. You need a license to be able to buy a wels in the UK. Well, in theory. There was that one local fish place that was selling wels catfish. They went out a bit, well, not went out of business. They disappeared and changed their name. So they got caught, basically. Yeah, he was selling wels that sort of 6 inch, 15 centimeters long. And it was about 6 months later that I saw one in the LFS that I normally use, and it was like that. It was basically the size of a half baguette. I was like, I know where that came from. And the guy in there goes, how do you know where that came from? I know who was selling them a few months ago. So you're probably going to get a lot more of them coming. But yeah, he was selling wels catfish for like £5, which is pretty much equivalent to €5 or $5. And that is a fish that will grow to 300 pounds in weight and 9 feet long. It's just a ridiculous and ugly looking fish. It's sold dwarf cats. Yeah, I mean, at least he was selling them as wels catfish, so anyone who knew what they were wouldn't buy one. But he should have had a license to sell them. The person he bought them from should have had a license to keep and sell them. And he should have been checking everyone he sold them to that they had a license to own them. it should in theory be as hard to have a Wells catfish in the UK as a tiger or a lion. They're basically classified very similar because they can breed and they can escape, especially with all the flooding we've had the last couple of years in the UK. Do we really want Wells catfish getting into our river systems and doing what they've done to the River Ebro in Spain? If you've not seen the River Ebro, Ebro, yeah, it's not the ducks they're eating. They've eaten everything else in the river, and now they're basically purely cannibalizing each other and anything else that gets in the water. So dogs, birds. It's only a matter of time before a small child disappears. Actually, perhaps there's a serial killer in the area and they get rid of the bodies by just throwing them in the river. Perhaps it's them who originally put the wells in there. Dun, dun, dun. Conspiracy theories with Sharpe. Yeah. This is one of those fishy things. They're a cold water species, so I think they're native to most of Europe. Nice catfish in Spain. They've also got crocodiles. Yeah. Again, things that either got escaped or just like the big cat population in the UK, the laws change and suddenly you can't have them anymore without an expensive license. I mean, you got to go through visits and check everything's okay and the enclosure's correct and the right size and blah blah blah. And people went, that's going to cost an awful lot of money. Run free. And yeah, that's why we've got Central Europe and not the I mean, we do have them over here, but not many. So they're probably all introduced anyway. Howdy, MC. How you diddling? Hope all is well. Peace. Yeah, introduced for fishing, much like the carp were by the monks in the way back days. But thankfully, the carp haven't destroyed any ecosystems in the UK because we have predators that will eat them when they're young. And we have otters which will eat them when they're real big as well. And they may not eat the rest of the fish, but they will eat the liver. And that tends to be quite a fatal experience if you have your liver ripped out and devoured by an otter. So yeah, the carp were introduced by the monks for a food source, and obviously over the centuries they've escaped and then they've got introduced everywhere and so on and so forth. But again, they'll breed like crazy, but they don't overpopulate because they run out of food. Pardon me. Even in lakes where there aren't predators. I mean, the lake I used to fish has no pike and no zander in it. It has one Wells? Yeah, one Wells in it. Was it a Wells? I think it was a Wells. It was a catfish like a Wells, if not an actual Wells. I think it was. And that got caught semi-regularly. It never got big because it wasn't a big enough body of water for it to, and it just, ate the dead fish. Now, And we're back to the HP Smart Printer app deciding it wants to do updates on my computer when I don't even have it installed anymore. Yeah, uninstall. And it's, do you want to update this? This isn't working. Yeah, I know. I uninstalled it. Yeah, so yeah, there's the one wells, but the only other predatory fish in there is perch. And yeah, they don't get very big, but they do eat a lot of very small fry. So yeah, it's not that you get a perch. If you catch a perch, you're going to catch lots of perch because they shoal like a mofo. Absolutely gorgeous fish as well. Just be careful how you handle them. Fairly, you know, kind of similar to a bass in some respects. Got the same scissor jaw that opens real wide. Dark green with black stripes and red fins. And the dorsal fin like Freddy Krueger's hand is probably the best description of them. And then they've also got spines on the gill plates and the pectorals. And they don't have much of a slime coat, so they're very rough to handle as well. They will scratch your hands up. It's like handling sandpaper. But if you're fishing in the UK in the winter and you're not getting any bites, just stick a worm on. You'll get a perch at some point. And it doesn't have to be a small worm. It doesn't have to be sized for the size of fish you want to catch. Because I've caught perch that big on a worm that big. Yeah, it's like a smaller version of a zander. Perca fluviatilis, whereas the zander is Stixostedion lucioperca because it was originally thought of as a pike perch. It's a completely different species. This was back in the day when people thought that a pike and a perch could breed and produce a fish that was sort of halfway between the two. And zander being a walleye, I believe, in the States, otherwise known as a vampire fish because they got very long fangs on them and usually feed at night. I have fished places with zander, but I've never caught one. That's because I didn't go predator fishing at night. Not because I'm scared of predatory fish or night. It's just things get a bit awkward when you're fishing at night. There's always that distinct possibility of falling into the lake or losing gear in the lake, or someone even weirder than me turning up. You tend to find fishing lakes are good places to find the people who like to partake of recreational herbage somewhere where they think they're not going to get caught. Usually the ones who are a bit smarter anyway. Some of them seem to think that, you know, going into the back garden means no one will know they are smoking that, when everyone from about 4 or 5 houses down knows what they're doing. My previous neighbour used to, don't bother me, I used to smoke it a lot as well. Shared the odd doobie over the fence. But there's an older lady who lives a few houses down that way. I bumped into her one day. It's been a very weird. I think someone's been smoking drugs. There's something illegal going on. I'm like, yes, yes, someone's smoking some weed, and that's illegal. That will bring crime into the area. No, it won't. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. I'm like, I've been living here like 15 years. Yes. Have you noticed an upturn in crime? No. Well, there you go. What do you mean? I smoke it. A lot of times on Fisher's End, I caught eels. Yeah, we've got a lot of eels around here, that's for sure. And they're a nightmare when you catch. The bigger ones are fine, and they're slimy and horrible. But the bigger eels, you can just lay on their back and they freeze, basically go into whatever the trance is they call it. You can do it with like chickens and rabbits. You just lay them on their back, and then after a couple of seconds, they just zone out completely. You take the hook out and chuck them back in the water. But when you catch the little ones, the little bootlace ones, like we call them, they literally just tie themselves in knots around the line and then tie the line in knots around them, and you're like, oh. Like, is it going to be easier to cut the line or cut the eel off? It's just a nightmare. Yeah. Thankfully, I mean, I say it's one of those things they do actually breed in UK waters. I know everyone thinks they go to the Sargasso Sea, and most do. But the ones that are landlocked and can't get to a river system to get to the sea will breed in the lake they're in, which is why you end up with captive colonies, and then you end up with a lake that's only got eels in, and you end up with the second flavour of Anguilla. Is they develop one of two head shapes depending on what they eat. If they're a normal eel that's just living its best eel life and eating eel stuffs, then they have a normal shaped eel head. If, however, they're somewhere where they're basically purely living on fish, they develop a broader head with a bigger mouth and bigger teeth. And the weird thing is, it's not like an over the generations they evolve that. It's like they just do it. It's like when you get the really, really big sort of landlocked trout and salmon, and they turn piscivorous, and they get some serious jaws on them as well. Two species, yeah, getting tangled up in my hair. Yeah, we literally just get the common eel, Anguilla, in the UK. Although by now there's probably something else in there as well. As long as not too many get released and they don't cause a problem. It's when you get several released into the same water system at the same time, and then you get breeding colonies happen, and then all sorts of havoc. It's like the mitten crabs in the Thames. You've had the they're coming in the bilge of water or the ballast in the ships, and they pump out the ballast and they pump out all the crabs. Or the signal crayfish is the other one we've got. They're the two worst ones. I'm just waiting for someone to have the bright idea of inducing something that will kill them, because then we'll have the problem with that. But if it's raccoons, I'm not going to worry, or mongoose. Yes, I know the plural of mongoose is mongoose. Another one of those vagaries of the English language where goose becomes geese, but moose becomes moose. And you pluralize it. Get something, get beef. Natural near the Donau. Some that breed and those we get natural. Yeah. It's, you know, as we all know, the most dangerous species on the planet is us. We're the ones that are most likely to screw things up because we think we know better. And something I heard this week, apropos of nothing, tradition, right? Tradition is peer pressure from dead people. Let that one sit and simmer in there a bit, ruminate. It's like, yeah, that makes absolute sense. But adults are just children with more that are taller and have more responsibilities and less fun. That's pretty much it. I'm specifically men there, because let's be honest, guys, we never grow up. Well, some do, and they just serve as an example to the rest of us why you shouldn't, because we all know that miserable old man who's just grumpy and angry at everything and nobody likes them. It's because they grew up. It's because they take everything too seriously. Never take everything too seriously. Always leave room to laugh at yourself. There we go. Life advice with Sharpe. God, since when has it got to the point where I've started giving life hacks on YouTube? I mean, it's kind of bad enough that at work I've sort of become the calming, steady influence, the voice of reason, like the person that people go to when they have a problem or they just need someone to talk to. How the hell did that end up being me? Is it because I'm like basically the second oldest person that works there now? Or do people just go, he's really screwed up, he'll understand? Oh, pardon me, a bit windy. Yeah. And that's while we got a few peoples here, I did get a comment on one of my videos a short while back. Someone who said they'd subscribed. Thank you. Because they'd seen my channel on Primetime Aquatics. I'm thinking, what? They were on Primetime's live stream and then they subscribed because I don't know whether Jason was saying something or was just someone in chat. But I can't believe it would be Jason. I'm assuming it was probably one of you lot. If so, thank you very much. I can't imagine Jason's got any idea who the heck I am. I don't think any of the bigger fish tubers have a clue who I am. I'm quite happy with it being that way. Yeah, it would be a bit weird to kind of be in that kind of bracket, though, wouldn't it? Well, I've probably got that level of notoriety already. And not just in the fish community either. Probably got it in every community I've ever been involved of. Oh, God. English Sharpe, you've been speaking it for 40 odd years. You should be able to do it by now. What was I seen this week? It was interesting. Ah, yes. Apparently, book reviewers on TikTok, I call it Book Talk, kind of makes sense. Apparently, some of them are getting upset because some of the books they're reading have got too many words. Yeah, but I don't want to read. I just read the dialogue. I don't read any of the other stuff. Like, oh dear. Joey, now I don't know if he's still keeping short periods. Just be. Yeah, Joey has no idea I exist unless someone's gone to him and go. There's this guy from the UK who's got a really small channel and he's been slagging you off. Corey knows I exist. I know that. Trying to think who else. Ben Ochart. You got to put the gap in there. You can't say it as one. You got to make out like you've forgotten what your own second name is. He knows who I am for sure. Pongimp might. I know Pongimp does because I'm blocked from his channel now. The old fart, he's blocked me as well, which is fine because I've blocked him. Yeah, I don't think any of the other sort of larger YouTubers have a clue who I am. Yeah, it's kind of nice. Nice to sort of fly under the radar, but just to have a small group of people who turn up regularly, that's fine with me. I don't think I could cope with 100 people in chat. I think my brain would be all over the place. I'd definitely be upsetting people on a weekly basis then, wouldn't I? If ever I have to stick slow mode on, there's something gone really badly wrong. Let's put it that way. Yeah. There's basically zero chance of anyone famous really turning up in my streams. So if anyone's looking to meet famous people, you're in the wrong place. Howdy, Gold Prospecting Scotland. How are you doing? And forgive me, I can't remember what your name is for the life of me. Funny when people get starstruck when a bigger YouTuber shows up in chat. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily get starstruck. I would be like, wow, such and such is here. Awesome. Hi, how are you? That, But I've met far more famous people in my life than YouTubers. By that I mean YouTubers that are doing fishy type content or modeling type content or whatever. And I'm on. That's it. There we go. Now I'm there. Gone from breeding amano shrimp to hunting for gold. So in that case, you're probably familiar with Dan Hurd and Vogus Prospecting. If you're not, I recommend both channels. What's the other one? Clash. I watch him occasionally as well. The ones who you get the feeling that they're actually doing it. Jeff Williams. I've seen a few of his videos as well. But he does make me laugh. Good luck with your gold hunting. I know it's there. There's just not a huge amount of it. And Jeff is here as well. How you doing? All the people that are realising that the clock's changed a couple of weeks early in the UK. But yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that I was getting mentioned in Jason's live stream in a positive manner. Found some, done a few bids. I will have to check it out. And if you want to put the two hobbies together, as well, we don't all know, but gold is found in quartz fairly regularly. And as some of the other gold tubers have done, where they've like bought bags of sand from like Homeless Despot or wherever, Home Depot, and then they've gone through the whole bag and found like 2 micro flakes of gold. Next time you're setting up a fish tank and you're using quartz sand, pan it out first. Good way of rinsing it, if nothing else. You might find some gold in there. Be a good video. I did actually suggest that to Clash in one of his, Shane, that's his name, isn't it? Shane in one of his videos. Quit breeding the miners and COVID. Ah, yeah. Yes, the wonders of COVID that hit people in ways that we didn't possibly expect. Yeah, I had some problems during that as well, because saved all the videos. Exactly, you got to save the videos. At least then you can make some money off them eventually. Not a huge amount. Yes. My main issue I had during COVID and the lockdowns in the UK was obviously when the pet shops were open, no place, you need 22 lorry loads for gold. Hit them all when you switch names. See, you're doing it sensibly, you see. You're not doing what I did and do, which is where you go, here's my channel, this is what I do. Now I'm changing hobbies, so I'm gradually going to switch over to just doing this content. Now I'm changing again, so I'm going to start doing this content. So over the years, it has actually gone from just modelling to modelling and fish to just fish to fish and paranormal to fish and paranormal and history to fish, paranormal, history and cycling. Yeah, I'm kind of confusing people, which is probably why my subscriber count doesn't go up. It's sort of, I get new subs, I lose subs, I get new, I lose, so it kind of just evens out. You never know, at some point I might produce a really good video and get a whole bunch more. That's not likely to happen, is it? You should punish you hard for changing names and hiding all the aquarium videos. Sorry, back. Spent that whole time reactivating my Pokemon Go account to retrieve my son's account. Oh dear. Did someone accidentally hit delete? See, it might be that when I changed channel names in the past. So it was Sharpe's Models, then Sharpe's Models and Aquatics, then whatever it is now, Sharpe's Aquatics. Fishing Phantoms, that's it. Could get a rowing boat. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. More of a bloody nightmare. Tommy, now you're back, you might know. Apparently I got mentioned in one of Jason Primetime's live streams. I don't know whether it was Jason or someone in chat saying something about me. Perhaps they were talking about brittle noses. or stocking levels. It's going to be one of those two, isn't it? Let's be honest. Now you can only keep this and this. Well, I know somebody who does this and it works. Huh? Yeah, I say it may well be that because I've changed names and changed type of content that I'm being pushed back down the algorithm. But nah, I don't care. I'm not looking to get rich off of YouTube. I never will. Maybe if I started doing, I don't know, gaming videos or reaction videos. Can you imagine me reacting to stuff? It wouldn't exactly be the most gripping of video, would it? I'd probably upset most of the reactors or most of the people who did the video originally. You know. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they definitely do that. No, we don't unsubscribe people. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. No, we don't. Yeah. And there are channels I don't want to follow anymore that you won't let me unsubscribe from. And then there are channels that I watch semi or fairly regularly that I'm suddenly not subscribed to anymore. I haven't seen a video from such and such in a time. Put the name in. Oh, I'm not subscribed. That'll be why. React to reaction videos. Oh, reaction section. How you doing, Mark? Hope all is well this week. I have seen ones where it's been usually a singer, and it's been them reacting to someone reacting to them. Aside from a lot too much notification pollution. Yeah. I mean, I tend to, at least I don't get the emails anymore, which is always a bonus because I was getting hundreds. But yeah, it's like most weeks when I turn on HMS Crap Top, because I don't bother clicking notifications anytime I go on YouTube on my phone or tablet, which is very rare because I normally watch it through the Xbox. And yeah, there can be literally hundreds of notifications. So if you're getting a ping on your phone every time someone uploads something or whatever, it must get very annoying. Yeah, thank you very much. And the old local history vids, I've got a few more of them filmed. Whether I've got any churches left, I don't know, but I know I've got an old workhouse, which is a museum now. I've got several videos I filmed on a trip there. Most of it I'm not saying much because I'm walking around a museum which is open and full of people, so you've got to be a bit careful what you do or say. And I was quite pleased because, I mean, I asked first, obviously, because you do, like, is it okay if I film a video? I won't get other people in the video if I can help it. I won't disrupt anyone. I'm not going to be setting up lights and microphones or anything. I'm just going to be walking around with a GoPro or a camera in my hand. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You can do that. It's not a problem. I was like, oh, okay. There's some places I've been where like, oh yeah, you can film the grounds, but you can't film you can't film inside. Oh, howdy, Salient. How you doing? Yeah, if you get permission, then you don't get in trouble. I'm pretty sure the people that run these places aren't checking YouTube to see who's been uploading videos about their place. But, it's always best to ask. Museum after dark. Yeah. I mean, if I could get in and they would allow me to do it without charging me a fortune, quite happily. Dark, spooky places don't bother me, as we know. But anyway, that's gone real fast. Apologies to my American friends, because yes, the clock's changed in the UK last night, so we're an hour earlier now. But thank you very much to everyone for being here. Have a great week. Stay safe. Have fun. Peace out. Rock on. And bye-bye. Sunday sharp do 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 do. Sunday sharp do 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 do. Sunday sharp do 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 do. Monday suck do 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 do. Monday suck do 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 do. Monday suck do 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 do. Tuesday